Welcome to the Modern Mystic Podcast, where we help you make your spirituality an actuality. I am your host, Kilkenny, who is an elite coach, yoga and meditation professor, and priestess, both psychic medium and astrologer, who is on a mission for over 20 years now to help folks find more meaning, mindfulness, and magic in their day-to-day lives. Oscar Wilde said, "Art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known." Mode. What is a mode? Well, the dictionary says a mode is a manner or way of acting, doing, or being. In math, the most common number that appears in a set of data is considered a mode. I'll repeat that. The most common number in a set of data. And so when we hear the term mode, it's about acting, doing, and a common number or energy. And when one looks at the lens of astrology, because that's what astrology is a lens, and I'm speaking to Placidus tradition of Western astrology, which is my area of expertise, we can look at our birth charts, which are a map of our soul's blueprint, a map for our life, and discover what is the mode of that map. So, what does that mean? Well, for those of you who are a little familiar with astrology, or even a lot of astrology, you will know these terms. We've got the signs. And if you're new to astrology, there's an aspect within each person that is named a sign. And there are 12 of them. So we all have 12 aspects, or another way to say that, are energies in our life. Most of us have heard of these: Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Those are 12 energies that live within every person. So even if you've had a chart reading and you know, oh, I have a ton of Scorpio and Aquarius and some Libra, you actually have all these energies. They're all the full psycho spirituality within a human being. However, some of them are more accentuated in one person than, say, another. We all know this. We all have distinguishing characteristics which emphasize certain aspects of self. And so we put these in astrological terms to know ourselves more fully, to understand ourselves more fully, and to accept ourselves more fully. That's the whole point. Then we feel better about our lives. Then we feel more empowered. We're more accepting of ourselves. And we also have more data and information how to up level and, when appropriate, shift and change ourselves. So when it comes to the modes are associated with specific zodiac signs, and they correspond to one of three energies. Another way to say this is that there are three modes, and each sign corresponds to one of these three modes. They are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So those are the modes known in astrology. Each mode contains one sign that is associated with one of the four elements. So what are the four elements? Well, there's water, earth, air, and fire. So when you take one of the 12 zodiac signs, let's just take the first one, Aries. Aries is a fire sign. The second zodiac sign is Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. The third zodiac sign is Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. The fourth zodiac sign is Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. And then it repeats that pattern again and again and again. Fire, earth, air, water. It replicates itself. And so when we talk about modes, we'll begin with the cardinal mode. So there's going to be one water, one earth, one air, one fire. So when we talk about cardinal signs in astrology, we've got Aries, it's a cardinal sign. We've got Cancer, that's also a cardinal sign. Aries is fire, Cancer is water. Then we've got Libra, that's an air sign. That's also a cardinal. That means it's the mode cardinal. Capricorn is also cardinal mode. What does this mean? Capricorn is an earth sign. So again, we've got in the cardinal mode, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Well, what this means is that they all share an overwhelming set of qualities. So fiery, you think of fire. Fiery personalities, they can be strong, they can be illuminative, they can sometimes be caustic and burn. However, they all have the possibility, these cardinal signs, to initiate, but it's how they initiate. So for example, the Aries, the fiery initiatory cardinal sign, initiates its fire. It starts things. It starts revolutions. It starts projects in a way that's sparky, in a way that inspires others. That's how Aries is cardinal. Cancer is a water sign. So water signs tend to be watery. They flow, they go with the flow, they're accommodating like water, they part when needed, they're sensitive, they take on things like water will take on pollution, they take on the energies of others. So Cancer has this quality, like all water signs do, but it initiates with this quality. So Cancer initiates home, family, togetherness, conversations about feelings. There's an initiatory energy. Libra is an air sign. Air is associated with the intellect and ideas and communication. Libra initiates relationships, connection, one-on-one partnerships. That's how it initiates. Capricorn's an earth sign. Earth signs tend to be stable, concerned with structure, order, systems. However, Capricorn is in this mode of cardinal. So it initiates work. It initiates success. It initiates action towards taking steps to realize goals. So the mode is this common energy that shows up, even though these signs are very different, that unifies them, which is to start something, to generate energy towards something. It might be in a different area and arena of life, but they all have a capacity to get up and go feeling. They're leaders. And so, for example, if someone comes to me for an astrology oracle chart reading, this happened to me the other day. They had 3 signs that were all fixed, and I'll get to fixed in a second. And they thought of themselves as very different, these energies, and their whole chart felt scattered. But when I talked to her about, hey, you have these different energies, and I'll go into them now, fixed signs, there are 4 of them: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Taurus is earth, Leo is fire, Scorpio is water, Aquarius is air. They're very different energies, and yet they all have a unifying theme of sustenance. Also stubbornness, which I was talking with this client about. And so when we reflect on the different energies within our soul blueprint, our astrological chart, and look, oh, do I have a lot of one mode in my chart? And what is the predominant mode that exists in my chart? Then it can give us information about cohesiveness, about underlying energies within ourself that are partly our structures and partly something to learn to work with. So fixed energy is very much like the middle of the season. So if the cardinal energy is the beginning of a season and the starting of things, there's, in the creative cycle, the sustenance period, right? There's the creation, sustenance, and dissolution of things. And then it repeats and repeats. You can see this theme in so many aspects of life. So these 4 signs have to do with sustenance. Like I said, it could be stubborn and manifest in that way. It could be holding down the fort and really maintaining things, relationships. So Taurus has an earth-like sustenance to it. It's very interested in sustaining security and paying attention to the senses and nourishing the senses in order to sustain oneself. Leo is about sustaining the performative energy, and the actor takes one for the team, so to speak, by feeling their emotions, by enacting a situation, and then other people watching the play benefit. But they have to sustain and go through all the odysseys and the narratives in the story or play. That takes tenacity. Scorpionic energy is watery, and it's about going deep within the deep waters and penetrating the depths of our psyche, being willing to stay with that hard work and looking at the aspects of life that aren't so comfortable for the majority of people and bearing witness to them. And it takes a sustenance to do that. Aquarius is air energy, and it's about sustaining community. Air is expansive. Air is global. It spreads out. It's the whole. And about how we sustain connections through relationships and community. Leo, who's the actor, is the energy of fire. So within the mode of fixed, there's still, like I had said, an earth, a fire, a water, and air. That's the second mode. The third mode is called mutable. And it's the end, the dissolution of things, the end of a season, the closure of a time. So it's how to close something out, which is, kind of the opposite feeling of the initiatory cardinal mode. There's a lot of transferring energy. There's a lot of multitasking energy. There's a lot of breaking down and scattered energy and chameleon-like energy about this mode. So people with a lot of this energy in their charts often can, for example, go to a party and talk to lots of different people because their energy can match many people's and they can be chameleon-like. So the signs associated with this mode are Gemini, which is air, Virgo, which is earth, Sagittarius, which is fire, and Pisces, which is water. They're all different elements, and yet they all have this umbrella arching theme of mutable. So an ability to be changeable, be a little spontaneous. Like even the Virgo earth energy, if you say, okay, I'm going to clean a Virgo's house, and then they say, okay, I don't like how you're doing that, because Virgos have a reputation for being a little critical or a lot critical. And then you say, okay, well, I don't really want to do it your way, but let me try a different way. Chances are they will let you do it that way. There's a flexibility about the Virgo, even with its earthy steadiness. So these are the modes. The one client that I alluded to when I worked with this person and said, hey, you have a lot of fixed energy. So that sometimes can really frustrate people because they might perceive you and experience you as being stubborn. And yet your wonderful qualities are you're really committed to your relationships and you really sustain things and you see things through, you don't give up. And she was like, totally. She's like, I don't really think I'm stubborn, but every person in my life tells me I am, which is like the most classic, fixed, sweet thing to say. So again, the astrology is so much about learning to work with ourselves, learning all about the fact that we are totally here on a mission, on purpose, and that we have these energies within ourselves, not to shame ourselves for, but to claim ourselves for and understand ourselves for the better. And in doing so, we totally up-level the world. So the modes are an art form. The astrology is an art form. And hopefully our lives are an art form. And we can make them so by reflecting on these qualities. So if you have a lot of get up and go starter energy, you might think, oh, but do I actually finish things? And then try to cultivate more understanding that you might leave things a lot in the middle of the projects. And it might be something to work on. It might not be. But contemplate this. If you have a lot of fixed energy, are you stubborn? Do you sometimes say you're sorry? Maybe work on this. If you have mutable energy, are you scattered? Are you all over the place? And would it be helpful to commit to starting something and sustaining something? So, contemplating these energies can also help bring incredible balance into our lives, which brings more peace. This is the reason I like to think about modes in general. So, as Oscar Wilde said, art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. May you know your modes, may you study the modes, and may you find your life more artful. Thank you for being here. Some of you have already become a patron of this podcast at patreon.com/Modern Mystic Podcast. And you can do so for as little as $3 a month. It supports the podcast so much. So grateful. And also, there are goodies there, there are freebies there. So thank you for heading over there. And you can also support the podcast by rating it and reviewing it. So if you go to wherever you listen to your podcast and hit the subscribe button, which is the other super crucial thing, be so grateful because it helps to get heard. So first hit the subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode and you'll gain great benefit from the wisdom we share here. And then if you can take the 30 seconds it takes to just 5-star it and even write a couple words about it, it's bonus. Thank you so much and namaste. Here's to a more meaningful, mindful, and magical life. Namaste.